This morning, we are hearing from a leading expert in the antique appraisals field. So exciting to have Dr. Lori Verderame here with us. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here. It's always great to be back at the Seattle Home and Garden Show. It's wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm so excited that you're here because you're going to be at the show later on, so people can see you in action. And I have info on that at the end. But you're going to give us a sneak peek this morning because if people have never been to one of your events, what can they expect?
You don't have to wait in line. Yay!
That's a plus.
Right, we love that. So you don't have to wait in line. There's theater seating. Bring an art, antique, or collectible down. If you've got a family heirloom, something you found at a thrift store, or you just want my fair, honest, and expert opinion, I'm going to tell you what you've got and what it's really worth. We'll talk about the history, how can you resell it, where can you find the valuables, what should never be thrown out of the house. I might find you the money for that remodeling project, and then all of our expert exhibitors.
They're right there.
They're right there.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. We had a lot of fun at my shows yesterday. We found some jewelry, some really valuable artwork, some wonderful pieces, and some collectibles too. Things like toys and games, all kinds of stuff comes in. So we've seen it all. I've been doing this a long, long time, and always happy to be back in Seattle.
Well, sometimes people can be surprised by what could be valuable and what isn't. So let's start in the toy area. Say these horses.
So sets are really important, whether they're toys or jewelry, right? So make sure you keep sets intact, and it might be vintage pieces from the 1970s or 80s are going to be really desirable at this point. And people are saying, oh, it's just plastic, it's not really worth anything. A lot of people collect these types of pieces. You want to always look for quality, and if something has a tag on it, maybe that will help you with a little bit of background. And also things like, you know, we've got our Barbie collectibles. Those are usually pretty high. People are surprised that the vintage toys, but the toys that are in fact very well known will always hold their value. Things like G.I. Joes and Barbies and such. But that's not the only thing. So I always say, remember, keep art, furniture, precious metals, including jewelry. Those are the things that you should, even if your kids are not, you say, oh, my kids are not interested right now. Your kids are going to become interested, let me tell you, once they know the values. So those are some of the things. Some of the things that just all of us have, right? So like vintage cameras or items like, you know, candlesticks or collectibles and decorative objects like figurines. So certain things are, of course, in vogue now, like barware is big. So people are saying, I didn't realize barware, vintage barware, very, very high. So if you have, you know, grandma's glasses, you know, drinking glasses.
Yeah, those could be huge.
Those could be huge. So those are some of the things we think about.
And you mentioned jewelry, so sometimes that's hard for people to gauge the value.
So a couple things to look for when you're looking at jewelry, and I talk about this in the show. We laugh and we learn and we find a lot of stuff, and it's fun to see everybody's stuff during the live shows that I do all over the country. But jewelry, I want you to look for marks, I want you to look for gemstones, and I want you to look for those particular things that look like a time period. For example, this looks like an actual time period. Thanks so much, Farah. That looks like a time period. That looks like the 1970s, 1980s in the style. So don't forget that style is going to be very important, but materials are most important. So look for those marks like 925, sterling silver, 14K, that kind of thing. And I'll point out at the show, you know, what you should be looking for and what are the best ways to resell things if that's what your goal is. You buy something at a thrift store and then you decide that you're going to resell it. I'll talk about platforms online and how to do that.
All right. Well, it's going to be exciting to see Dr. Lori at the Home and Garden Show. It's happening at the Lumen Field Event Center. Information on your screen right now. She has a show at 1 and 3 p.m. today. Live appraisals right there at the Home and Garden Show. And of course, the Home and Garden Show goes until March 5th. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Yeah, don't miss the whole Home and Garden Show.
Yeah.